Okay, I'm going to keep going on this, harping on this, because it's really important, and the mathematicians that I have presented this to haven't gotten back to me. They must not take me seriously because I'm not in academia, maybe. So I'm going to force people to think about this and actually deliberate upon it rather than just slough it off as another crackpot theory for whatever their own personal reasons are for not taking this seriously, even though I implore them to take this seriously because it's a big fucking deal. All right? So let's think about this. Reasonably, logically, I'm going to put forth what I think are reasonable statements together and see if we can get somewhere. So I'm just going to read this and then I'm going to wing it. And then after I wing it, it probably will all go to shit because I'm not a very good speaker. So anyway, here's the crux. I want to set up the idea that this is actually valid. This theory that I'm presenting here is actually valid. Okay? In order for mathematicians to be able to ask the question, and this is the greatest philosophical question in mathematics, every time I hear an interview, watch an interview of a great mathematician being interviewed, this question is asked of them. And I'm asking if that's the right question and why is it questioned that way, okay? So in order for mathematicians to be able to even ask the question, is mathematics discovered or invented? Math must possess both discovered and invented qualities in superposition. That's a reasonable statement, right? If you're asking if math is invented or discovered, then it must display invented and discovered qualities in superposition, right? If you're asking if it's either or, then it appears as both. So why is it that the question isn't worded this way then? Why does mathematics possess both discovered and invented qualities in superposition? Why have I heard this one asked 1,000 times and this never asked? If math operates in a state that is both discovered and invented, then to ask whether it is one or the other is asking the wrong question, like asking whether an electron is a particle or a wave. Right? The deeper we go, we realize that we weren't asking the right questions because of our ignorance, maybe because we assumed things that weren't actually real, like the existence of particles as being the most fundamental constituent of reality. Right? So maybe we're making assumptions, and those assumptions are incorrect and leading us to ask the incorrect questions, irrelevant questions. Thusly, a resolution to the question in red reveals the original question as being inapplicable, rendering it irrelevant. It doesn't get to the actual problem. It's too superficial of a question because mathematicians don't want to question the fundamentals of mathematics. The original question remains unsolved because it is revealing a problem with the foundation of math itself. It's asking, what is math? The reason why mathematicians don't ask the question in red is because they don't want to question what math is. This asks what math is. This makes an assumption and then tries to formulate the question to include that assumption, right? They start with an assumption, and then they ask a question that is actually should be this question that's questioning the assumption. Okay, so this is good, I think. So we could stop there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go on to the argument of what math is that answers this question. So let us not assume that we know what math is, right? We don't actually know what math is. It just works to make technology, and that technology has us addicted to the technology, and the technology is going to kill us. So this is why I'm saying that maybe we got math wrong. There's something wrong at the most fundamental levels of what we believe to be true. So, my theory of enlightenment presents mathematics as a message that is undergoing interpretation. So actually the mathematics part of it is the interpretation, okay? So a message a message is designed, created with the intent for it to be discovered, correct? So a message that has been discovered but has yet to be properly interpreted, that is a state that exhibits both discovered and invented qualities. The invented qualities, the invented part of it, is the manipulation of the information found within the message in order to correctly interpret what it means. So, and the message, I'm even going to tell you what the message is and what it actually means. This is the whole package. So the number system, the natural number system of 1 to infinity, is a linear expression of a cyclical process. Just think that through. It's obvious. The number system in infinity, why it goes to infinity is because it's a linear expression of a cyclical process. So what is another huge cyclical process? Well, that is the process of that is the wheel, the cycle of samsara. So what my theory is saying is that the number system, the natural number system, is a message implanted within consciousness, and you could go even further with the narrative if you want, by the creator, by perhaps us caught in a time loop. That's a better way of putting it, maybe, is that consciousness is trapped in a time loop, and it left a message to try to help to get it out next time it comes around. If it's in a cycle, a time loop like that, it might do such a thing. So the number system and its infinite redundancy in a cyclical fashion is the message. All it's telling us is that, hey, you're in samsara, just like the Hindus said 5,000 years ago. We're just repeating this in a new updated version of the information. So that's it. So would the state of a message that's been discovered and yet and going through interpretation, is that a state that exhibits both discovered and invented qualities simultaneously? I'm saying yes, it does, right? You've discovered the message. The message is created to be discovered. And then it is discovered, but not yet interpreted. But if mathematics is the assumption and quantity itself is the incorrect interpretation that we have assumed to be the correct meaning and reason for the number system. So adding, addition, and it's in its creation, right, invention, with Principia Mathematica, the 360-page proof that is basically the invention of mathematics, that is incorrect. And the fact that it takes 360 pages, and I learned that there's 3 volumes. I don't know if it has to do with 1 + 1 = 2, all of it, but there's 3 volumes, 630 pages, 800 pages, and like 500 pages in Principia Mathematica. That is the creation of mathematics, and it's wrong. That's because the fact that it's so convoluted and complicated is an indication that it's wrong. And the fact that mathematics just continues to develop into more abstraction. The longer it goes, the more abstract it becomes. All of these are indications that we've gone the wrong way. It's incorrect. And we just keep going with that first initial assumption. That's the incorrect interpretation. So that's why we just keep going, math keeps going and going and going and going, because it's the incorrect interpretation of a message. Now, I understand that this destroys everything. This destroys everything. It reveals all that's been false the whole time. And look at the state of humanity. We are at a deep, deep, deep level. We're fucked up. And this is the depth of that level. This is how deep it is. So it's simple, right? Think of it. A message that is implanted within human consciousness, the collective human consciousness as a whole, would be what? Universal, simple. It's built to break consciousness out. And if it is a very, very condensed message implanted by the creator, then the misinterpretation of it would hold a lot of power, right? It's so compact, right? It's so condensed with information that the misinterpretation of it could develop patterns and stuff that get you really lost, right? The incorrect unpacking of that information could keep one going forever, perhaps. So please, I know it's simple. That's why it's right. Start asking this question. I dare you to start asking this question. This one is irrelevant. It's incorrect. And it's only been the fear of mathematicians that keeps this going. All right. Someone take this seriously. I'm serious.